Hello, hello. Welcome to your very next module. In this one, my sweet friend, we are going to be talking a little bit more in depth about your soul self, which is what I call your inner self or your intuition. Whatever that deepest part of you that makes you who you are is to you. You can use whatever word or frame of reference that you desire. And so, as we are talking about your soul self, it's so important to spend this time getting to know your intuition and getting to know that deepest version of you. Because the more in tune you are with her, the more in tune you are with listening to how she speaks to you, the more you can really hear those innermost desires, the more you can really tap into what it is that you truly want for yourself, that you truly desire for yourself. Because, like I mentioned earlier, it's so easy to get stuck in this pattern of doing what other people expect you to do, or to get stuck in living the life that you think that you're supposed to live. I hate that word supposed to, right? We let it dictate so many of our decisions and even so many of our habits and even so many of our frames of reference for who we believe ourselves to be. And the truth, sweet friend, when you get right down to it, is that you are in charge of who you truly get to be in this life. And that's so exciting. That's like the crux of self empowerment right there. And so when we can begin to tap into what it is that your soul self sounds like and how to listen to that deepest part of you, you get so much empowerment from just that. You get so much guidance and wisdom from just that piece. So that as you are meandering down this path of this self coaching method, that you feel like you're being led from within, that you feel like you are walking a path home to yourself, led by yourself. Because you're the only one that knows what home feels like for you. You're the only one who knows deeply and intimately how you truly desire to feel, instead of a variety of things that you may be feeling now, or a variety of behaviors that you may be engaging in now, or perhaps a variety of personas that you are putting on now. So let's talk about what intuition sounds like. Let's talk about what it sounds like for your soul self to be speaking to you. And I think the simplest way for me to describe this to you, in that pausey moment just there, I thought of like 12 different ways that were off script of how I could describe this, but I'll stick to what I had planned out. The easiest way for you to consider your intuition is to listen to the very first answer that comes up for you whenever you're considering something new or asking yourself a question or trying to make a decision. It can be so easy for our minds to jump straight into strategy or thinking about all the scenarios or playing out like everything that could potentially happen in a given situation or from a given decision. And the truth of the matter is that your intuition, your soul self, who you truly are, already knows exactly what decision to make, already knows exactly what answer to give. She's not confused about who you are. It's your conscious and unconscious mind that float through and muddy the waters. And arguably, strategizing is what your unconscious mind is supposed to do, right? Like, it is part of your biology to survive and to keep you safe and to make good life choices. And your unconscious mind also doesn't really care about your existential happiness. That your existential happiness is not part of your biology. Think of it in terms of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, for example, if you remember that from science back in the day. Maslow's hierarchy of needs places things like food and water, basic shelter at the bottom of this pyramid. And then all the way up at the top is like existential fulfillment. Your unconscious mind is only worried about the bottom of that pyramid. And your intuition, your soul self, wants you to be concerned about the top part, that existential fulfillment, being happy, feeling empowered. And right now, I feel like is a beautiful moment to call out how privileged we are in being able to talk about self coaching and being able to talk about those existential top parts of the pyramid, because it can be incredibly difficult or even impossible to consider self coaching for empowerment and happiness when those basic needs aren't met. So, take a little moment to feel very fortunate and to cultivate a moment of gratitude for the fact that we're talking about this and for the fact that you can listen to your intuition and your soul self right now about who you truly are meant to be on an existential level of happiness and empowerment. And so to track back to what it sounds like to listen to your soul self, essentially what you're searching for, what you're listening to, is that very first response, that knee jerk intuitive reaction, that first answer. And that is where you find out what your heart truly desires. And I'll admit that on my journey to listening to myself, to listening to my intuition, or to my soul self, I was really bad at listening to my first thought. It was incredibly hard for me to be able to track back my thought process to the very first thing, to that first kernel. And maybe it will be easier for you. That's what I'm here for, is to make this process easier for you. Because the moment I understood that the very first thing that I think of sets off this chain reaction of opposite thought, of opposition, of opposing that first thing, it becomes immensely easier for you to be able to think about the thought that you're thinking now and then ask yourself what is in opposition to that thought that I'm thinking right now. And it's usually that first thought. It's usually that intuition, because your unconscious mind and your conscious mind can't strategize, can't come up with a possibility for not doing something. or for making a different decision unless it has first processed what it would be to do that something. Hello, beautiful humans. Editing Kayla here with a quick note about why this video is on YouTube, how it's on YouTube, and how you have access to this beautiful module from Who Even Am I? A homecoming to your most luscious self-truth. So, this video is brought to you by the Braveheart Open Mind Free Replay Policy, where all of the luscious live creations that Braveheart Open Mind puts out, any meditations or master classes, are promised to be posted for free on YouTube on the replay. So the replays are recorded and made available for you guys here on YouTube because here at Braveheart Open Mind, we believe that all human people should have access to self-love support. And not just any self-love support. Self-love support that people would pay thousands of dollars for inside of a regular coaching container, inside of a regular coaching group or program. Because every human person deserves to love themselves. Every single person deserves to love themselves. So that is a fundamental part of the Braveheart Open Mind mission. So if that jazzes you up, if that idea, if that movement lights you up, I would love to invite you to consider joining us on Patreon as an official part of the Braveheart Open Mind movement, where we create this free replay policy so that everything experienced live gets to be put out on YouTube for the rest of the world who might not have the financial means or who might be stuck in systemic systems of oppression and they might not know how to get out of it yet or be able to or have access to resources, because resources in this day and age can be very closely guarded or behind a whole bunch of paywalls. And while I believe that creators should be able to be paid for the content that they produce, at Braveheart Open Mind, it's incredibly important for me to know that we're creating content that everyone has access to. So you can join us on Patreon if you want to totally commit yourself to the Braveheart Open Mind movement. If you are not into Patreon or you don't have the financial means, well, if you don't have the financial means, you, my darling sweet friend, are the person that we're doing this all for. You are the reason why we have this policy, why this video is even here on YouTube, because I believe that you should have access to the same types of materials and supports that people with money have access to. And if you do have financial means, but Patreon sounds like too big of a commitment for you, consider cruising, consider cruising over to the Braveheart Open Mind website, or consider even friending me on Facebook. My name is Kayla Vavra. I'm the founder of Braveheart Open Mind. I'm a self-love coach. I'm a poet. I am an energy healing facilitator, and I absolutely love bringing self-love healing to everyone. So consider friending me on Facebook. You'll find out about all of the live events, which are paid, and part of your payment from going to those live events helps make this free replay policy possible. So there are a variety of ways for you to get involved in the Braveheart Open Mind movement, whether that's joining Patreon, watching videos here, and basking in the fact that there are so many people rooting for you. There are so many people contributing to this being possible for you to have the support. So know that we have your back. Or you can join any of the live paid events and not only contribute to your self-love, but know that you are supporting other people in their self-love too, which is wildly magical and so exciting. And I cannot wait for the magic and self love that we create here together. Okay. From my heart to yours, I'm sending you so much love. And now back to your regularly scheduled video. So think about that for a moment. Your unconscious and conscious mind cannot process the flip side of a possibility, doing something or not doing something, without having first considered the doing of the thing or the not doing of the thing. So let's put this in context of an example. We'll keep things simple. Say, for example, that your friends want you to go out, okay? And your thoughts are happening lightning fast, right? Like they can just happen so fast. And you're hemming and hawing between going out and not going out. Okay, there's a duality there. Notice. Okay, there's a duality to staying at home in your leggings or not wearing pants at all. You do you. And getting gussied up to go out with people wearing pants, you know? So there's that dual feeling there. And so when you can recognize that feeling pulled towards going out is an opposition to your first impulse to stay in, that's where you can use that duality to track back to what your first thought was, to what your intuition was telling you, to what your soul self was saying, that she truly desired me time with no pants on. Okay? You guys, I don't like to wear pants. I did not mean to divulge that within this self-coaching method. But here we are. We're going to get honest, and that is okay. So using that duality can help you to track what your very first thought is. And your intuition is speaking to you immediately. Your soul self will always speak to you immediately about what she desires. All you have to do is listen. And watching for that duality is a way that you can do that. There's a variety of ways where you can get better at listening to your intuition or soul self. One of them that I've been particularly interested in lately is human design. And if you have started going down the rabbit hole of human design, you know what I'm talking about. And if you haven't yet, Google it. Start going down that path of human design. And there is a chance that I may be getting a guest teacher to come in for you. Her name is Megan Stoddard, to teach you a little bit more about human design so that you can know a little bit more about who your intuition or your soul self is designed to be and how it can be easier for you to listen to her. So if you are super interested in human design, whether she ends up making a few modules for me or not, please go visit Megan Stoddard because she is a wealth of knowledge about human design. And she can be so helpful in helping you to dial in on what it means to listen to your intuition and what feels good and right for you. And just noticing your thoughts and tracking back is the simplest way to notice what your soul is saying to you. And now that you have that juicy tool in your backpack, we can keep moving forward and keep talking about what it is that your soul self desires for you, what it is that you currently are thinking or believing about yourself that you desire to let go of in favor of what your soul self wants. And that's so exciting. So continue that noticing process. Add to it that idea that your soul self has already spoken first and that it's your very first answer that you truly desire. And then go from there. And we will keep learning and we will keep growing and you will continue down this path of self coaching for yourself. We are heading into, after this, talking about disrupting any patterns that try to stifle your intuition, that try to stifle your soul self. So that's what's coming next are some action steps to start making change, to start making those shifts for yourself. And I'm so excited for you. So let's get into it. I will see you in the next module. I'm sending you so much love, sweet friend.